This is the Getting Into Alignment podcast. Here we play in the quantum world of possibilities. If you desire it, you get to have it. My name is Alexa Ray Smith. I'm a business coach and spiritual teacher for women in business. I'm here to help you unlock your personal power and tap into your magnetism so that you can manifest the most incredible life for yourself and build the business of your dreams. These episodes will help you plug into the energy of infinite potentiality and teach you the tools you need to play in this world where limitations don't exist. On this podcast, I'll be talking to you about energetics, mindset, embodiment, spirituality, money, and business. Everything that you want is on the other side of you getting into alignment. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Alexa Ray Smith. If you're new here, I'm so excited to have you. Mercury retrograde is in full effect. So I just found out from Apple that my podcast has not been showing at all this entire time. So you might be new here, you might be an OG listener, but I just wanted to let you know that we finally worked out all of the kinks on the podcast. So now you're able to share these episodes. So now this is a searchable podcast, all of the things. So I'm really, really excited. That's also why I wasn't recording podcast episodes and I was just posting my lives on here, because my podcast was, one, not showing in the search, and two, the episodes that I was uploading were not actually appearing. So you probably just got hit with a bunch of episodes at once in your feed, which is exciting, right? It gives you something to listen to. If you follow me on social media, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that this was happening. So if you're ever curious of what's happening behind the scenes, you can always go to my Instagram. That's the best place to catch up with me, because that's where that's where I like to hang out the most. You know, I love TikTok and I love YouTube, but Instagram is like my home. That's where you're going to get the most up-to-date information from me. So I just wanted to put that out there in case you were like, whoa, Alexa, like I haven't heard from you in so long. And now apparently I have 7 podcast episodes to listen to. That is what has been going down. So I've been doing a lot of live streams, trying to play in the TikTok live world. But oh my God, it's literally, it's painful to do TikTok lives because it looks like you're at like a casino with everything going on. Like, I don't know how people do it. And the Instagram lives, I at least love because they're just like me talking and hanging out and giving you some information. So let me know how you're feeling about the lives being on here. I personally love when other coaches that I follow post their live streams on their podcast, because I find that even if I have listened to the information, we're humans, right? And we get distracted. And when we are watching someone, there's a lot of things for our mind to get distracted with. But when we're listening to someone, we might have already watched the live, but then when we listen to it, it might resonate at a whole nother level, because one, the seed was already planted when you first listened to it. And two, you get more depth and you're able to really concentrate more because you're not distracted by, watching me with my hands waving around when I'm talking all the time and all of my tattoos and whatever it is. So that is why there were a lot of lives and not so many newer podcast episodes. But now, just expect that there will be live streams and podcast episodes, and live streams as podcast episodes and just podcast episodes. I'm really navigating the whole being a podcaster and being a coach, because here's the thing that I find a lot of women do when they start generating a lot of money in their business is they typically only end up podcasting when they're going to launch one of their products. Like, say they have one product if they're a generator and they launch one time a year. So, or like a few times a year, one product. They typically come back to launch, or they have a podcast and they just literally ghost it because they've started making so much money that every time they speak on a podcast, they realize they could be charging someone to be in a masterclass with them. So I've been navigating as a business owner, how do I give you free value and also create paid containers that are super juicy? So you'll see that while I'm giving you a lot on here, there's also only so much you can gain from a podcast, right? Like podcasting, you've heard me say it before, and I will say it, till I'm blue in the face, that listening to podcasts was really one of the ways that quantum leaped me into this world, because I was opened up to so many new concepts and so many new people and ideas that I just genuinely probably never would have found if I didn't enter the podcasting world. And while there's so much value to be had with podcasts, there's also something to be said about actually investing energetically into a container. And that is where a lot of people, I find there's this disconnect, is they don't get past the whole, well, I haven't worked on my money mindset, so I don't have enough money to invest, so I'm just going to go through all of the free resources. And I get that. And that's also a really super hectic and a really draining way for you to try to change your frequency, for you to try to rewire your mind, for you to regulate your nervous system, for you to learn how to become a business owner. And honestly, if there was one piece of advice that I could give any woman that's new in business, is stop jumping around from free shit to free shit to free shit. Because you have to spend so much of your time navigating all of that and really piecing together the fact that the different people that you are learning from have different understandings of how things work. And while I think there's something so beautiful to be said to really have your own unique perspective and to not have it influenced by anyone, I think that if you don't get into a coaching container, or you don't get into the right programs and consistently keep investing your time and energy and resources into those programs, you're going to find that you're watching other women literally just like run past you. It's like you're on the track and you're walking in circles, and you've got somebody who's literally running, and you're like getting tired watching her because she's passed you so many times, and you're like, I just don't get it. Why am I so far behind? And it's not that there's really technically anything special about the woman who is running those circles versus the one who's walking the circles. But the woman who's running those circles has disciplined herself differently than the woman who is walking around the circle. The woman who's running has a different focus. She's got a different mindset. She's got different energy. She's got a different frequency. She's taking different action. She's making different moves. And that's not to say that this is a money thing, right? When we talk about investing, there's so many people that are like, oh, well, she's just telling me to put more money into my business. That's not necessarily the case, right? Your energy and your time is actually the most valuable resource, not money. Money is literally an energy that's responding to you. Money is not a limited resource. It's actually the most abundant resource available. It's just our minds and society have programmed us to believe that money is a thing that has to be correlated with shortages, and that money comes and goes, and that you need to hoard it and you need to hold on to it, instead of realizing that money is like air. And when you're not holding onto a breath and you just allow it to flow, it just flows naturally. You don't even need to think about it. Your subconscious mind is allowing you to breathe, and it's facilitating the process for you. Your subconscious mind is also facilitating whether you have a lot of money in your life or you don't. So that's the thing, right? So many women in business are looking at all of the shiny, flashy things, like let me jump into very cheap master classes or cheaper master classes. That's like a one-off. And it's like, how can I make 10K this month? And then they do that and they wonder, and they get so frustrated why they've taken 17 money courses and why they have invested in 5 different master classes in 10 months around the same topic, and they still haven't even made 5K in their business. And it's like, okay, but who are you being? Who is the woman that you're being when the cameras aren't on, when you're not creating content online, when you're not showing up and talking to your audience, when you're not coaching your clients? Who are you being? Because you'll hear me call this the invisible factors. The invisible factors that get a woman to reaching insane income months. And when I say insane, like, it is not out of the ballpark or literally like a completely insane notion that a woman can be making $1 million a month in her business. We are actually seeing more women now than ever making $1 million a month in her business. So we have to really, like, there's so many things that we have to move past, but one of them being that making money and having these really high income months is put on this really high pedestal, because anything we take and we put away from us and we separate from us, it means that it's no longer a part of us, which means we've created resistance to something that doesn't need to be there. We create resistance when something is meant to flow naturally to us, but we have been conditioned to believe that that's not the way it works. And that's why, in order for you to really have a successful business based in feminine energetics, and for you to really defy all of the odds, all of the rules, everything that we've been told about business, money, life, how life gets to go for us. Like, we are literally, the women that are leading this industry, the women that are in this industry, we're changing the landscape, the financial landscape, the frequency landscape. Like, this is the paradigm shift. We are finally in the age of Aquarius, where it's not a male toxic masculinity, let's burn out, let's try and gatekeep all of these secrets so that way I can be the most successful and everyone can be below me. Like, we're actually realizing that that's a terrible way to live, and who wants to get to the top if they don't have anyone to share it with? And that's why I think it's so beautiful that not only are we seeing more mentors having deeper relationships with their clients, but we're also seeing like friendships being made, and then collaborations are happening, and then they're bringing 2 audiences together, and people are learning in such beautiful ways. But I find that so many women aren't even able to get themselves to this place where they have financial freedom in their business, because quite simply, they aren't doing the inner work on themselves to focus on who they are being and the woman they are becoming to have and to hold a multi-million-dollar business. When we look at you, and when you like take an honest inventory of who you're showing up as, and the actions that you have, and the mindset that you have, and the energy that you embody, can you quite honestly say that you are being a woman right now that could hold a multi-million-dollar business? Because here's the thing is, if you don't have what you desire yet, it's because you aren't being the person who can hold it. You haven't normalized it in your reality. You haven't made it so that this thing is just, of course, a part of your life. You're still struggling and hustling and forcing your way through it. And this is really the thing that's going to keep you stuck below 5K, watching all of these women who are making these insanely high income months going, what the actual fuck is wrong with me? And it's not that anything is wrong with you. It's just that who you are being and who you've always been, you cannot be to have what you desire. That's why Abraham Hicks always says you can't get there from here. Like, who you're being right now, if you're a lack-based human, can't hold $1 million. You don't have the mindset to do it. You don't have the energetics to do it. You haven't regulated your nervous system to hold it. And if you haven't regulated your nervous system to hold lots of money, that's when you lose all your money. That's why every fucking person who wins the lotto goes broke so quickly, because they don't have a money mindset to hold money, and they haven't regulated their nervous system to hold money. And I'm sorry, but like if you're not doing that work, you're never going to be successful in business. A business exists to make money. If you do not feel safe making money, if you do not feel safe holding money, if you have all of these negative beliefs around money, how can you actually make money in your business? Like you actually won't. And I had a post the other day that said, if you haven't worked through your money shit, that's where to start. Because you can't expect to hire a business coach and have her navigate and walk you through the fear of investing in yourself. Because quite frankly, only money mindset coaches are the ones that are going to walk you through this all of the time. It's literally the most energetically draining thing to have moved past the frequency of lack and then have to keep going into a frequency of lack to meet your clients to help show them how they navigate that. So if you're really still struggling with the whole money thing in business and you haven't made any money in your business, I don't actually think you should be in business yet. Quite frankly, you need to be doing your money mindset work while you have a 9 to 5, while someone is paying you money, or if you're lucky enough to be married to someone so you get to be a stay-at-home wife or whatever it is. So then like your bills are paid for, then do it then. Or if you're in a situation where you cannot work and you cannot have money coming in and you can be working on your money mindset, then leave your career. But I really think the worst thing you could ever do is leave your career and not know how to make money online and not have done any of the mindset work or any of the nervous system work to regulate yourself around money and then just go into business. Because quite frankly, that's why 95% of women aren't making it past 5K a month, because they saw some women tell them, or a bunch of women tell them, you just need to go all in on your business. And it was said in the context of you need to quit your job and just manifest the money and manifest the success. And then so many women aren't doing it, because you'll hear me say all the time, manifestation is a life principle and business principles are business principles. You can't manifest a business. You need to learn how to grow a business, how to build a business, how to market yourself, how to create offers, how to sell your offers, how to communicate your offers, how to create a hot audience, how to create a brand, how to create brand loyalty. Like there's so many things that you have to do. And while you're doing all of those things, you have to primarily be focusing on who you're being and who you're becoming, so that all of the work that you're doing on building the brand, on creating offers, on selling yourself and building this business, it's not all basically being tanked by your mindset and your energetics while you're building it. So that's why I truly believe that the focus should be on your embodiment, your energetics, and your mindset while you're learning to build. Because if you don't do this, you'll just be building your business in a way where you're like, oh my God, I need to make 5K this month so I can pay my bills. Oh my God, I need to get 3 clients this month so I don't lose my house. Oh my God, I need to. Oh my God, like that shit right there, that's what dysregulates your nervous system. And most women, if you don't have a coach and then you go into a dysregulated nervous system, that's when you're just gonna ghost and hide from the world, because you don't know how to navigate this and you don't know how to lead yourself and coach yourself through it. So I had so many things that I wanted to say on this, and I don't think on this episode, and I don't think we're covering any of it, but that's the beauty of me channeling these. Like I literally don't have anything more than like a slight intention on what I'm going to speak about, and then I just start channeling and speaking. So I know that this message is for someone. If you're still trying to manifest your business, but you haven't learned business practices, go back to having a job. Honestly, until you're able to confidently make money in your business, then I want you to feel safe and I want you to feel regulated and I want you to be able to build a business that's sustainable, so that when you leave your job and your career, you're in an amazing place and it's this upward trajectory. Now, I really have been focusing a lot on this because I've been talking to so many women recently, and it's like I can tell right away when I speak to a woman with her mindset and her energy and about her business whether we're actually going to be getting traction or not. And every single time without fail, it always comes down to who the woman is being, who she is becoming behind the scenes. And the women that have these really insanely high income months, they focus on who they are being. And at the end of the day, they're not really doing things, like they're doing the same things that everyone else is doing. It's just the energy that they hold while they do those things, the mindset that they have while they're doing them is completely different than how most people do them. There is this level of intentionality behind it. There is this deep awareness of why they're doing what they're doing. And they're not looking for their business to validate them. They are giving themselves the validation that they need, and they're doing the inner work on themselves, and they're going through their shadows and doing the shadow work so that way they aren't projecting their fears and limitations and doubts into their business. And I find so many women are doing this, and they just don't really seem to know how to get past, well, I'm doing all of the things, I'm working 18 hours a day and I'm not making any money. And then they get so triggered when they see the women that are like, well, today was $150,000 day and I was at the spa. And it's like, how do we bridge the gap between I can't make 5K to I literally breathe and 100K just flows into my life? And I'm going to tell you, it's not what you think it is. It's going to be the energetics, the mindset, and the embodiment. Because when you work through these things, you open up a new level of personal power. You open up a new level of self-expression. You open up your creativity. You no longer are trying to create things so that you make money. You are now this embodied leader who is becoming the woman who can build an empire. And because you've become the woman who can build the empire and hold the empire before the empire existed, that's how the empire was built so quickly. And I find so many women aren't doing the foundational pieces, and they're still just trying to chase these money wins without actually doing the required work. So if you're a woman who is like, I just don't get it, I've been doing all of the things and it's just like, I'm not where I want to be yet, then I really encourage you and I invite you into my latest offering, Becoming the Woman Who Can Build an Empire. This is a 3-day experience where we're going to be talking about the mindset, the energetics, and the embodiment that you need to have while building your business. It does not matter what income level you are at right now in your business. These are the things that you need to have in your business so that you can scale, so that you can quantum leap, so that you can hold the energy when you become a really sought out coach and you've got a lot of people watching you. Right now, with the energetics, the mindset that you have and the embodiment, would you be able to handle having 100,000 people watching what you're doing? Would you be able to have your posts going viral and people commenting on them? Would you be able to have tons of people flocking to your programs and feel regulated to hold that? Or would you feel like you needed to go run and hide? Because we tend to want all of these things in our business, but then when we have an honest conversation about like, okay, but can you actually, if that were to happen right now, like, would you be able to hold it, or would your business fail because you don't have the back end support? You don't know how to onboard clients. You don't know how to offboard clients. You don't have contracts in place to protect yourself as a business owner. Like, there's so many things that need to go into place. And a lot of the times we aren't actually doing the work on the daily to make sure that we are not only building a brand that can support what we desire to have professionally, but also are we building ourselves up to become the woman that can have what we want personally and professionally. Because it's this navigation and the balance of the and, balancing the human and the business, balancing the feelings and the success, balancing the sales and the people, balancing the investing and the teaching, balancing. It's the duality of all of it. And this is where, like, this is literally the sweet spot. When you start to understand how to move in alignment with where you want to go, because you focused on your energetics and your mindset and your embodiment first, and then you start moving with that, that's when you are going to build a business that is on this upward trajectory, and you're always working on yourself and navigating the business so that you learn how to always be showing up, always be selling, always be building the business, and allowing yourself to have the spaciousness to heal and to do the personal development work and to go through the shadow work and all of those different things. It's the balance of these both. So I want to ask you, and I want you to really take this podcast seriously. Use this episode as a way to really assess, is your business right now on track in 2023 on Wednesday, January 18th? Are you still on track to meet your income this month or this year? 2023, you should have insanely high goals for yourself. Like, you should have this really juicy manifestation list with all of your desires on there. And one of those things being what you desire in your business. Is the woman that you are right now today, and the action that she's taking, with the mindset that she has, with the energy that she's holding, with the embodiment she's operating from, is she on track to get to the 20K month, the 50K month, the 100K month, the $1 million year? Or is she on track to repeat the same year that she had last year? Or are you so dysregulated and haven't done the work that you just feel like you're so lost in your business and you kind of like want to just pull the plug? That's honestly a beautiful place to be sometimes, because that gives us all of the self-awareness we need to know that we are focusing on the external world and we aren't actually focusing on ourselves. Because remember, everything, including your business, is a mirror of who you are and how you're being. So this 3-day experience right now is $333, and it's truly going to change the trajectory of your business for 2023. The things that we are going to be talking about will literally land in your body differently. It's going to allow you to change how you've been showing up and how you continue to show up in your business. And it doesn't need to take a long time, right? Like, we can make big changes quickly, and then the universe can respond quickly to us if we're moving in alignment with that. So this is the perfect program for you if you're somebody who is new in business and just starting out. If you're somebody who's been in business and you feel like you're just not able to break through to the income that you desire, or if you're that person in business who's feeling really drained right now and you feel like you're wearing that imposter syndrome cape and you're like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to create, I don't know what to do, but I know that in my heart of hearts, I desire to be an entrepreneur, I desire to have financial freedom, I desire to bring my gifts online. Honestly, that's just a sign that you haven't been doing the mindset work, you haven't been doing the frequency work, you haven't been doing the work on yourself, and you've been trying to avoid it by working on your business, and your business is saying, hey, you're not getting the results you desire because you need to do the work on the inside. So I don't think that any of these are bad things. I think these are all beautiful things once we understand and have the self-awareness to know where we're at, where we're deciding to go, and whether we have the tools right now in our tool belt to help us get there. And that is what becoming is going to do. It's going to be a 3-day experience where we are going to talk really deeply about how you are being and who you're becoming, so that you can become the woman who builds the empire, so that you can become the woman who has the financial freedom, so that you can become the woman that is the sought after coach, so that way you can become an industry leader, so that way you can become a trailblazer, so that way you can become a trendsetter, so that way you can become a pioneer in this industry. You have so much power inside of you. And when you learn to harness that and to focus your mind intentionally and move from that place, like literally nothing gets out of your reach at that point. And that's what I desire for you for 2023. This is the year that you get everything that you desire, and you will look back and say, this was the year that I called myself out on my blind spots. I quit operating from lack and scarcity and fear and doubt and worry, and I did the fucking work to become the woman who can tell this story of a legacy that I built because I understood what was required, and I did it. Because that's the thing, right? There's another huge thing, and this should be a whole nother episode, but there's one whole thing about learning, and then there's another whole thing about integrating and actually moving. And a lot of women I see are still stuck in that learning phase in their business, and they aren't integrating, and they aren't embodying it, and they aren't moving with it. So if you are one of those women, I'm calling you out because I have a solution for you. Join us in becoming, because I promise you that the woman that you become even through these 3 days is going to be completely different than who you've been your entire life. And that alone is worth all of the money. All right, so I'm going to leave this one here. This was longer than I expected it to be, but welcome back to Alexa Podcasting. If you are not already following me on social media, I am on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. I post every single day on all 3 of them. So if you want to get daily mindset shifts, if you want to have your frequency recalibrated, if you want to really have these deeper conversations with me, make sure you're following me on there, because one, you find out when I release things first. So this program was originally $99 when I had first launched this, and now it's at $333. It could potentially keep going up as I'm building to this program. So if you want to be the first one and you want to get in and you want to be the first to know all of the things, then I highly recommend you following me there. It's at Alexa Ray Smith on all of them. On Instagram, there is an extra H. If you have any questions about becoming, absolutely feel free to DM me. If you found like this podcast was really helpful for you, I would love for you to share it with somebody. Take a screenshot on your stories and tag the podcast. Tell me what your biggest breakaway was. Takeaway, breakthrough, breakaway. Anyway, and I would be so grateful if you're loving this podcast anyway and it feels aligned, if you would go and give this podcast a 5-star review and tell everyone why you're loving it. Since the podcast was not actually open to the public for this entire time, this would really help me to get the message out there, so that way it can help more women build businesses based in feminine energetics and manifest the life and business of their dreams. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, I just got emotional. Thank you so much for being here. Like, I'm literally so grateful for all of you. Like, it's amazing to me how many of you are already subscribed to the podcast without this like even being public. Like, I'm literally so flattered and I'm so honored. And I'm really sick right now. So my emotional authority, my emotions are all over the place. Anyway, use this as a sign that don't bail on your business when you're sick. Work how you can. Record a podcast so you don't have to look cute. And make sure you're getting your message out there. Make sure you're showing up. Stop using excuses like being sick to not show up. And if it means that you show up a little more vulnerably, perfect. You're human. Let your people see you. So I love you guys so much, like literally from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being here. And until the next episode, I love you and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're ready to go deeper and to get into my world, you can go to my website, alexaraysmith.com. You'll find all of my current programs on there. If you're desiring to get mentored by me, then the best thing to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram and we can talk about mentorship options and which one's the best fit for you. If you're absolutely loving this podcast, please go rate it 5 stars and let me know why you're loving it. This will help me share the podcast with more people. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And until the next episode, keep manifesting the most incredible life.